Ladies and gentlemen, last night is what you saw, or what you can call a classic rigged fix job by Vegas in the NBA. And it worked out just the way they wanted to. The Indiana Pacers basically had a 5-7 point lead late in the fourth quarter, and then they squandered it. They handed the Celtics the game. They literally gave the ball away as if it was going out of style. They had 21 legally able to drink turnovers. 21, guys. And the Celtics had 14 in their own right, which is a hell of a lot. Anything more than 7 is outrageous. So the Pacers tripled the outrageous standard, and the Celtics doubled it. So in other words, you gave them 7 more possessions than they had. So that's the ball game, ladies and gentlemen, among other things. But the turnovers right there in themselves, because think about it. If that's 7 possessions you gave them, that's a 14-point swing, because you could have scored on those possessions, and then they score. So that's a double whammy right there. Each one is a potential 4-point swing. So it's actually more than 20 points. It's almost 30 points. If you give the ball away 7 times to an NBA team, you are literally raping yourself in the ass. Now, if we look at the stats, they played 10 deep. They had double digits with everybody in the starting lineup. And then they had 2 bench players hit double digits. And they still lost the game. 7 people hit double digits. You played 10 of them. And 8 out of the 10 scored. And you still lost. It's because of the turnovers. It makes the cup tip over and spill because you gave them more than you can handle. Everything was in line, and the Pacers looked like the better team for a majority of this game, guys. The first quarter, the Boston Celtics jumped out to a 12-0 lead and then only won the quarter by 3 points. I'd say the Pacers played well. Supposedly the 4th worst defense in the league. And then they beat them in the second quarter. Third quarter basically tied. Fourth quarter basically tied, and then overtime they lost. Those 5 points, that's what killed them. Now, if you look at the Pacers, if you look at Boston's bench, you gave up 5 points to a Cornet. Like, who even is that? Who is that? So that's the ball game. You gave 5 points to a nobody, a guy that I have no idea who he is. I could walk on the streets, walk right by him, and I would never know. And that's a guy you let beat you. Those 5 points, that's the difference in the game. And then you look at Peyton Pritchard. You gave up 8 points to him. Shame on you. A brother like that averages 2-3 points a game. You tripled his average in a playoff game. Shame on you. How the hell do you allow that to happen? TJ McConnell's a dog. On any other team, he probably starts. But you got Halliburton, so you can't. But he handles the second team, and he is feisty. He goes out and after it and goes after and gets it, and you can't do nothing about it. This brother is so little, but he's so feisty. I love the way this brother plays. I could watch him play all day. Obi Toppin, he did his job. But the problem is the turnovers. Obi turned the ball over 3 times. Neesmith turned it over 5 times. Turner 4 times, and Halliburton another 3 on top of that. You can't win like that, especially in the playoffs. If you turn the ball over 21 times, I don't give a damn who you are. You could be Denver from last year. You still gonna lose that game. It's impossible. And I told you guys, the only way the Pacers can keep this a ball game is if they run up and down the court, and that's what they did. They made it a track meet. They made Boston have to run with them, and that's what they're going to have to do to keep this a series. If they go half-court game, it's going to be over in a jiffy. If they try to play towards Boston's strengths, it's going to be over. They got to force Boston to keep running so they stay tired later in the game, so they don't got legs underneath them, and so they can't make jump shots, which affected you later because Jason Tatum hit that big 3-pointer late in the game in the overtime. And then Jalen hit that three to take it to overtime. So there's a lot going on. The Pacers, that's what they got to do. They got to clean up the turnovers, keep playing the way they playing, tighten up on defense, and stop letting the bench players on the Celtics score more than 3 points. If you can do that, you can beat this team. The Indiana Pacers should have won last night, guys. They were the better team for the majority of the game up until the NBA told them to turn the ball over and to fall flat on their face. Boy, did they ever. It was embarrassing. Jason Tatum dropped 36. You got 28 from Holiday, 26 from Brown. That's your big three. You can't allow Al Horford to drop 15 points. Like, you just can't do it. That old man can barely move up and down the court, and you have the audacity to let this man drop 15 on your wig. What the hell is the matter with you? I could throw grandma on that court, and she ain't gonna let him score 15. And you gonna let him do it? I have no answer for that. Nothing. I'm gonna call the game 2 out tomorrow. I need to sleep on it. I knew the Pacers were going to cover that spread. There was no way that Boston is 13.5 points better. I knew they were going to cover that. But there was no way I could give them the win yet. They scared me a little bit. I thought the Pacers were going to win a few times. And I was going to have to come on and tell you guys I was wrong again. But I wasn't this time. I might be wrong after tonight's pick. But like I said, I don't give a damn. We're going to pick them and we're going to keep it pushing. So other than that, what else could they do better? Boston, they shot 47%. They only shot 33% from 3. And you still lost. They weren't shooting well from 3, and you still lost to them. You weren't shooting well from 3 either. And that's why you didn't shoot enough free throws. Boston, they shot a shit ton of free throws, and that's how they beat you. You can't keep fouling them. So that's what they got to do. They got to ease up on the fouls, the turnovers, and they got to get to the line more and keep running up and down the court. That's the way the Pacers win this game next and take it back to Indianapolis 1-1. That's the only way it can happen. Any other way, it's just not going to work. So that's where we going to leave that. Now tonight, we're going to watch MJ's son take the court. We're going to watch MJ Jr. do his thing. And he called out Kyrie. I love that shit. I love how this man just called that man out like it was nothing. Like this man ain't only 22. He did that like he's been there before. But like you and me both know, this is his first time in the playoffs winning a series against a top opponent, the defending champions. So because of them beating the defending champions, that makes me have to give them the edge. But at the same damn time, everybody's going to be picking Minnesota. So that's the reason why I kind of want to go towards Dallas. I could see Dallas winning the game. And then Minnesota comes back game 2, guns blazing because they pissed off, they lost. And the NBA made them lay down. I could really see that playing out. Because everybody is so high on Anthony Edwards. Literally everybody. So if you think it's real basketball and you high on this man, you going to pick him. And everybody's going to pick him. So that's why I think I'm going to go Dallas here, guys. I think it's going to be a good game. Dallas's defense, ever since they made that trade for their center over there from Washington, I forget his name. The man is a beast in the post. He brings a presence that they were missing all year that makes them a contender. But at the same time, Minnesota, they got some rim protection as well. So it's really hard. This is probably the closest series out of all of them to call. PJ Washington, he's definitely going to cause problems. I don't know who they're going to put on PJ Washington. I think PJ Washington in this series, he is going to be the X factor. Because I don't know who the hell you're going to put on him. They got a lot of length. It's going to be interesting to see how Dallas comes out with their starting lineup. I don't think Mike Conley can start this series. Because where are you going to put Mike Conley? Who is he going to guard? The only person Mike Conley can guard is Kyrie Irving. He's the only person. And then you could put Anthony Edwards on Luka, even though he's smaller. And then you could put McDaniels on PJ Washington. That's the only way I can see that working. And then there's other guys you got to worry about. So I'm just very interested in seeing on the matchups, on how they gonna play these matchups. I really don't know which way I'm gonna go with this one. I'm really picking off a whim right now because I need to see these two teams play. I didn't get to watch any film because I'm too busy working, making money. So I didn't get to really see these two play each other. So it's hard to really gauge when you don't see what's happening. So this is going to be a guess. I'm picking Dallas to win game one because the public is going to be on Minnesota heavy. They're going to be heavy on their nuts. And they're already favored by 3, so the public tends to go for that. So I'm going to go against that, fade the public. And we're going to pick Dallas to win game one. And then the Wolves will probably come back and win game 2. But they going to make Dallas win this game to get everybody off the Anthony Edwards train just so they can come back and slice your throat again and let them win. That's what they do. They do the yin and the yang. They zig and they zag. That's the NBA for you, boys. Other than that, we picking Dallas. If I change my mind before the game, I'll let you know. Other than that, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.